Okay, those are the All-Americans at 130 pounds. And now we move on to the 140-pound weight class. And you'll see in the blue uniform from Hayfield, Minnesota, Brad Pike. And in the red singlet from Easton, Pennsylvania, Eric Gresko. And our color man, Ed Ferraro, will be in the corner for Eric Gresko, as he's an assistant coach for that fine Easton program, and Brad Pike from Hayfield with the first takedown and a 2-0 lead. 2-0 so far, the score for Brad Pike of Minnesota as he works on top, now looking for the chicken wing. Brad Pike, a three-time state champion in Minnesota, and he turns him over. He had the arm bar, and he switched off to the half Nelson, and he's got Eric Gresko in a lot of trouble right here. He's going to get a count, at least 3 points for the near fall. Eric Gresko has been a pinning machine himself in this tournament. 5 opponents, 5 pins in a combined time of just 11 minutes and 11 seconds, but it's Brad Pike applying the pressure here. And 50 seconds left here in the first period. Pike has a lot of time to try and finish off this pinning combination. He leads 2-0, and Pike is going to readjust. 3 near fall points are going to be coming eventually for Brad Pike. Now ticking down to 30 seconds on the clock. Gresko still fighting his way off his back, but now Pike pressing the issue a little bit. 2-0 still in favor of Brad Pike, and 3 points coming on the near fall. Now Gresko has improved to the perpendicular position. 9 seconds left to go in the first period. Pike trying again to finish him off, but he won't be able to do it. And the first period will end right there. 3 near fall points coming for Brad Pike on that coffee grinder and half around the head near fall. And 5-0 is the first period score. We go to the second period. Eric Gresko of Easton will take neutral, as he showed that he was dominated on the mat there in the first period. This is the 140-pound championship match. Eric Gresko of Easton, who we saw fight off his back in the first period, he was on his back for over a minute in that pinning combination that Brad Pike had on him. And now Pike, aware of that cement mixer pinning combination that Eric Gresko uses so effectively and has used in his 5 previous pins in this tournament, trying to stay out of a situation where Gresko can counter to that pinning hold. We have a break, and in injury time, still 5-0 in favor of Brad Pike of Hayfield. Brad Pike in the blue singlet taking the injury time at the moment. Eric Gresko trying to think of a way to get back into this match right now. Actually, it is Gresko taking the injury time, trying to get that shoulder back into circulation. Second period here, and Brad Pike of Hayfield, Minnesota, still in command with the 5-0 lead. Eric Gresko was the Class AAA state runner-up in Pennsylvania. As a junior, had a off-state tournament for him this year, only finished 4th in the state. He came to this National High School Championships wanting to prove something to himself, and so far he's done just that. He's in the finals with 5 pins in 5 matches, and you can see Brad Pike of Hayfield not wanting to take a shot with his head in the side and give Gresko an opportunity to lock up that cement mixer and put him in trouble. Less than a minute left to go here in the second period, still 5-0 in favor of Brad Pike of Hayfield, Minnesota, the 3-time state champion. Pike now with the 2-on-1, trying to keep Gresko on the defensive. 30 seconds left to go in the second period. And Pike tying up the head. Gresko almost wanting him to take the leg and try to counter to that cement job. Pike will have none of that. Pike has had Gresko scouted pretty well. He knows how to counter Gresko's offense, and he's doing it so far. And now, Gary Kessel, the official, warns both for stalling. Ticking down to 10 seconds left to go here in the second period. Brad Pike of Hayfield, Minnesota, still hanging on to that 5-0 lead. And that'll do it for 2 periods of the 140-pound championship match. Brad Pike has the choice for the third period, still deciding what he's going to do. And he's going to take the top. Pike was very successful, of course, on the top in the first period. He was able to turn Gresko over to his back and hold him there in that pinning combination for over a minute, although he wasn't able to finish off the fall. And now Gresko has the stand-up, trying to break the hands, but Pike trying to bring him back to the mat, and almost the cement job there by Gresko, but Pike lets him go and he has the escape. 5-1 now, the score, as Eric Gresko gets on the scoreboard. 1:44 left in regulation time. And Gresko taking a little bit of a half-hearted shot on the legs, countered easily by Brad Pike. 1.5 minutes left to go here in the third period, and a stall warning against Brad Pike. That's his second, so it's a point for Gresko, and that cuts the margin to 5-2. And now a takedown and back points would put Gresko in the lead. Gresko not out of this match by any means, although he still trails 5-2. 1:15 left to go, and Brad Pike is trying to, of course, stay out of that potential situation, and he drops down to the double leg and scores the takedown. He now extends that lead at 7-2. Less than a minute left to go in the match, and really a fine takedown shot by Brad Pike, and he working the arm bar, and it will be injury time for Eric Gresko once again. 7-2, Brad Pike of Hayfield, Minnesota has extended his lead with that double leg takedown. And now Eric Gresko will be tended to here by the medical staff. Under a minute left to go here in the third period. This is the 140-pound match. We're just about halfway through the final round of the National High School Wrestling Championships, coming to you from the A.J. Palumbo Center here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on the campus of Duquesne University. Rob Sherrill, along with Ed Ferraro, providing the play-by-play, and George Von Benko with interviews. And now Gary Kessel will stop the injury time, and they'll resume the action. 53 seconds left to go here in regulation time. And Brad Pike has done a masterful job of staying out of Eric Gresko's offense, and he leads by a score of 7-2. Gresko now with the stand-up. Pike picks up the leg and takes him out of bounds with 45 seconds left. Still 7-2. Brad Pike leads it. Pike, a 3-time Minnesota State champion, 4th in the Junior Nationals in Greco-Roman last year. Eric Gresko, a state runner-up in Class AAA here in Pennsylvania as a junior, 4th in the state this year, his senior year. And Brad Pike working hard on top, and he's got Eric Gresko with his head down on the mat. 25 seconds left to go, and Brad Pike still in the lead, 7-2. Now Pike getting out to the side, trying to bar that right arm. Down to 10 seconds now, and Brad Pike of Hayfield, Minnesota is just a few seconds away from making it 7-7 for the boys west of the Mississippi. The escape for Gresko, and that's it. 7-3, Brad Pike of Hayfield, Minnesota, the three-time state champion, will win the national high school title. Second place to Eric Gresko of Easton, Pennsylvania. And the 140-pound match is in the books. In a moment, we'll have the presentation of the awards to the All-Americans at 135 pounds. And we'll also have a few words with our champion at 140 pounds, Brad Pike. 6 more matches left to go, so we have 7 in the books. Here in the National High School Wrestling Championships, the 7th annual tournament, and it gets bigger and bigger every year. 606 entries this year. You're watching the 26 finalists here tonight. In a moment, Ed will rejoin us, and we'll be throwing it to George Von Benko to have a few words with Brad Pike, our 140-pound champion. We'll also be looking at those All-Americans at 135 pounds as we continue through our final round here. Now let's throw it to George Von Benko, and he's with Brad Pike.
I'm with Brad Pike, the champion at 140 pounds out of the state of Minnesota. And Gresko had gone through this tournament with that cement mixer move of his and given a lot of people some problems, but you were ready for it.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I knew what to stay out of and exactly how he does it. It's like a counter, you know. So you notice I tried to stay out of that every time that he even got my head down. You know, I backed out of it. So.
You went after him real quick, too, and jumped on him real quick, and I think that had a lot to do with your strategy, too.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't even gone a whole match in this tournament yet. I mean, it's like second period, I think it was. So I knew I'd get him at the end if we went that far.
Well, Brad, once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
The national champion at 140 pounds, Brad Pike from Minnesota.